Hi y'all, Angel here, also known as Robin or Sailor Shadow. We've been prying on Shiva, and as I've mentioned in descriptions before, I feel kinda slow at picking up mechanics sometimes. I've still got lots to work on overall, but I wanted to try and share a specific explanation for Light Rampant that might help if you're having trouble in Party Finder or in your own static. I remember being told one of the best ways to learn something was to teach someone else, so I'm hoping that by explaining it a little bit, it might help me remember it better as well. Light Rampant is also what I keep hearing is a sticking point in Party Finders from some of my static members. Your markers may be different, but I'll be explaining based on our markers that you see. I've got my coffee, so let's get started. First up is Chains. The debuff is called Refulgent Chains, then becomes Refulgent Fate. If you're chained, you stand still. Your job is to bait the conal attacks while beating on the boss at max melee. Once the chains go away, you'll slide in and together a bit to bait the conals more east and west to let the orbs north and south have more space. You can tell from the beginning if you're going in or not, so let me show you the examples of each. It helps to stand at cardinals for this, so if you've got assigned positions, go ahead and move near them when she jumps to the center for the Light Rampant cast. If you only have the chain debuff, then you'll be going into the center circle at the end. Make sure you're in position by the time the counter reaches 4, and you should be fine even with some lag. Once you bait the conal to the sides, just continue forward into the circle for the last mechanic, the center tower. For us, tanks always go to 1, so I stand between 1 and 2. As soon as I see chains, I move over to 1 and just keep doing my thing. If you have 1 stack of the Light Steep debuff when you get your chains, then you're staying out of the center circle. It's the same timing and movement as before, just that you aren't stepping into the circle at the end. Now, I didn't move right in this clip, and this one ended up as a white, but I still hope it helps see what I meant. Next mechanic is Orbs. If you're baiting an orb, you will always start with a stack of Light Steeped. If you've only got 1 stack, you're going in the center at the end. If you have 2, you're not. As soon as you see your tether, you want to be on the opposite side of the platform from wherever it is. If you're already there, then go ahead and move back some. If you have to go across, then move immediately across. If you have to go off to the side, then move immediately off to the side. You do not want to be in the center and risk baiting the conal attacks. Once those go off, you can move to your next spot. Towers will always be north and south, so if you're already there, just move forward into the back edge of the circle. If you're east or west, go to your left or clockwise to the tower, following the outer line. You'll see why this matters in my clips, and I now understand why you have to do it that way too. I only have Light Steeped, so I'm getting an orb. And I have 1 stack, so I head to the center once I pop that orb. Once you move, dodge the other orb quickly and get in place. Once those conals go off, you can move into the tower circle. The reason you want to stay at the back edge of the circle is so you're not too close to your orb that's coming in. You want to turn around and run back to about the outer line. Once there, you'll run back in through your orb, which pops it, and then into the center. This time, I have 2 stacks, so I won't want to step into that center circle at the end. I have to run to the side this time. You have to move as soon as the conals go off. Sprint helps out a lot here, and it's best to try to follow the outer line over to your tower circle. The reason is because it'll keep it a bit more centered. I cut straight across and nearly clipped our warrior with my orb, but he's a pro adjuster, so it worked out. I hesitated on popping my orb instead of continuing to run forward and get back to the boss, so I ended up moving her too far out of the center. But still, I hope it helps you see exactly how things are working. So, in summary, there's 2 possibilities for you to get here. Chains and orbs. Uptime can and will come later. Get these mechanics down first, Then you can see where and how you cheat a little bit more for another GCD, or once you understand how it works, you can alter the strategy for your own group once you get what's happening. East and West Orbs, of course, have a lot more movement than North and South, so just keep moving and try not to hesitate. If you get chains, you're going to stay in place. That's all there is to it. You stay in place until that debuff goes away. If you get tethered to an orb, you're going to be moving around a lot to bait it. On top of this, no matter which one you get, you will also have a light steeped debuff. Each mechanic you eat is going to give you a stack of that. You need to eat mechanics, so getting clipped by or taking an extra mechanic is going to result in a wipe. As you saw. You will not get a stack if the mechanic was not done right. If your partner wasn't in the tower with you, it just explodes and gives you a damage down. You don't get your light steeped debuff. This will also happen if someone else eats your orb. They get the stack, not you. As soon as the debuff changes to Refulgent Fate, you cannot move or you'll explode everything. Do not use gap closers, jumps, or anything that moves you away. You will also have to use True North if you're off for your positionals, as going for those will also trigger the debuff. If you have your debuffs somewhere off to the side and find yourself missing things, my suggestion would be moving your debuff bar to the center of the screen and possibly make it about 200%, which is where I have it. Now, I guess the last question is, why do I upload all our wipes and our prog? I've been doing it for a while. Well, it isn't just for my group. Though, that helps, as they have given me suggestions and advice based on what they saw me doing. It's also for you guys. You who are watching this video. You who've watched my other videos. Wipes can be useful, and not just for myself, but for others. Watching other people screw up can help us understand why something isn't working, or why we have to do something a specific way. As you saw here, for example, being too close to the orb will explode it early, not being in position fast enough, and explode the group. Trying to make up for time and cut corners could have killed someone else. If I helped even one person finally understand the mechanic, then this whole thing was worth it. Stay safe out there. Be kind to each other. Thanks all. See ya. It helps to stand at cardinals for this, so you will also have to probably use True North. The next mechanic is Orbs. If you're baiting an orb, you will always start with a lack of light. If you get chains, you're going to stay in place. That's all there is to it. You stick... Yeah. Picks mechanic.